Welcome everybody to the latest edition of Founders Tales, and today I'm joined by the co-founder and CTO of Safe-Sight.Ai, Gayathri Jayaram. Really excited to hear about your journey from big corporate to co-founding a startup. But I best start with who you are, Gayathri, and I'm going to throw that over to you to give us a little introduction on where you've come from and maybe a little insight in what made you make the leap to startup world.
Thanks for introducing me, Jason. So for the listeners, my name is Gayathri and I'm the CTO of Safe-Sight. Prior to this, I was heading the data science function at CoreLogic, and I have over a decade of experience in data and AI space. I've been working on a problem statement at the background, and I really thought that this is the time to make the leap and join the startup full time.
Amazing. And look, a lot of people can't make that leap, Gayathri, because of the fear, the risk. But I'm super pumped about the fact you have. Let's dive into the problem that you saw out in the market that sort of became your obsession and then led you to setting up Safe-Sight.Ai.
Yeah, the question that I was really obsessed about is, can we identify the risk before it actually happens or becomes an incident? The real world safety problem is not that the organizations don't care, but it's just that the risk moves faster than the traditional safety systems can actually see. So in dynamic environments, hazards emerge in real time, but most of the safety processes that are designed, they are still built beyond, built around delayed visibility. So for example, you have reviews, you have inspections, you have reporting, and all of these happen after the fact. So that's where the existing systems or the existing approaches fall short, and they're too manual, too reactive, and too simplistic for the messiness of the real world, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I was obsessed with the problem, and I really thought that this was a gap that's worth solving, and hence I made the leap into my startup.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that leap. So, and this is about your sort of headspace and the concern, the risk, and the pros and cons. You walked away from corporate security. Talk me through sort of how you overcame sort of the fear and potential doubt and conviction that the problem you saw was real and you could solve it. Talk me through a bit of that.
Yeah, sure. So it's a very great question. So walking away from corporate security was not some fearless, glamorous decision that I made. It was actually quite uncomfortable, as you might know, because on paper you're actually leaving stability, you're leaving structure, you're leaving predictability and all that behind, and you're jumping into something that's much more uncertain. So for me, it wasn't just that the fear disappeared, but I had all the normal doubts as anybody would. So things like, am I doing this really early? Am I solving the right problem? Will the market be ready? Am I actually building something really meaningful and useful? And all that was this part of the process, right? But what kept pulling me forward was the conviction around the problem. And I had seen enough to feel that this wasn't just an interesting idea, but it was a real gap that's worth solving. And at some point, staying at the comfort of corporate, it felt really less honest than taking the risk to build something around this belief that I had. People don't talk about it enough because you don't step into a startup because you suddenly become fearless, but you do it because your conviction starts to become louder and noisier, and more than the certainty that you crave for, right? So that's how it all started, and it's continuing on.
Yeah, I love it. So my observation there is there's probably a lot of people that have an idea. They believe there's an opportunity in the market, but it just can't get off the fence on whether they should push the button to do it or not. Any advice for those type of budding founders, I guess, is probably a good way to add on to this bit.
Yeah, sure. For founders that are sitting on the fence, my advice would be to, first thing is you shouldn't be romanticizing the leap, but I wouldn't ignore the pull either. So we have to be honest with ourselves. Are we really excited about the title founder, or are you genuinely unable to let go of a specific problem and you really want to solve it? Because if it's the second one, that actually matters, right? That's usually the thing that carries you through the uncertain periods.
Yes.
That's probably something I would say to fellow founders in the market.
Make sure that it's not just the glamorous founder piece that's driving you. It's the genuine problem that you believe you got a solution for. And then I guess the final thought is just do it. Because at the end of the day, just do it. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, it'll eat away at you for a significant period of time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The fear of regret, I guess, it's more than the fear of failure at some point. And you have to do it. Until you do it, you won't know it. So
correct.
You might as well
absolutely give it a go. Exactly. Right. Well, let's dive into Safe-Sight.Ai. Tell us a bit about what it does. Sort of high level overview. What outcomes you want to see your product deliver. But keen to hear a lot about Safe-Sight.Ai.
Sure. So at a high level, Safe-Sight is about helping organizations get earlier and better visibility into safety critical situations in real world environments, right? So in environments like childcare, manufacturing, warehousing sites, the risk is very dynamic, and it's very, very difficult to rely purely on manual monitoring to catch everything that happens at the right time, right? So what Safe-Sight is trying to enable is that early intervention, more consistent monitoring, and better awareness of genuine risk as it happens. So I just don't think of it as a detection technology, but I think of it as helping make safety more visible and actionable, right? And where AI genuinely adds value is its ability to continuously observe, and it recognizes patterns and it surfaces signals that humans may not catch consistently in live dynamic environments. So that's on a high level what Safe-Sight does. And obviously detection is only the beginning, right? And the real value actually comes when the signal can be trusted, can fit into the workflow of the customer, and it actually helps them respond appropriately.
Brilliant. I think when we spoke a few weeks ago, when we decided to do this, the childcare one really resonated with me. And my parents back in the day had a childcare centre. It was very successful, but the biggest thing on their mind all the time was safety. And you've got 30 kids, 6 or 7 staff, 14 eyeballs. You can't keep your eyes everywhere at all times, and the risk of a little human having an injury is fearful. So that example that you were talking me through around childcare just made a lot of sense to me, and I thought this is a good product. So brilliant. Being a founder, it's all about building the business. It's a lot of different things that you haven't done in corporate world that directly affect whether the success happens or not, that you're now responsible for. So let's talk about the hardest thing that you didn't sort of expect when you became a founder of Safe-Sight.Ai.
Yeah, sure. So everything is hard, right? You choose your hard, I guess. Corporate has its hard. Startups have a completely different kind of hard, right? So for me, what's been the hardest is that building the business is so much more than just building the technology itself, right? You're building the product, but you're also building the trust around it, proving the value in the real world. You're managing customer expectations, you're raising capital, and you're also trying to build the right team all at the same time. So wearing multiple hats is a huge part of it. And in one day, you can just context switch and you can go from product thinking to a customer conversation to to fundraising to hiring to multiple other things, right? And every little piece requires a completely different mindset. So the challenge is not just the volume of work, it's just the constant switching between very different kinds of problems. So yeah, and fundraising and hiring have both taught me a lot, and it's given me a lot of clarity into what matters to different people as well. So investors are not just backing technology these days, they're backing your understanding of the market, the timing, and the path forward. So yeah, I think the hardest part has been really building on multiple fronts at once while staying grounded in the actual problem we set out to solve. So
do you feel inspired by all these new experiences? And because I think what I have learned over my 52 years, when we're not getting challenged, when we're just sort of in business as usual, what's going to happen each day, pretty much. I think most people don't realize that they're sort of getting stale. So for you, coming out of an environment that is predictable almost to the uncertain, how's that sort of been for you from a headspace and a sort of learning perspective? You enjoyed that?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely enjoy that. And I think I enjoy ambiguity more than I thought, and uncertainty more than I thought. And it's definitely making me a better person, if not anything. And I have a special appreciation for big corporates, for recruiters, for everybody around me, and I kind of know how hard it is to run your own thing, and also while managing the expectation of others that are involved in the ecosystem, and moving into the startup, it's pretty much you have to keep yourself updated with what's happening in the market. You learn every day. There's no end to learning, and you also connect with peers, and you also connect with people who are building something else, and you have that network and support system as well. So it's really an inspiring journey, and it's definitely not for everyone. But once you kind of get the kick of it, I think you would want to do more of it.
I love it. Really good. Really exciting for you. Let's be real about sort of where AI is at the moment. Like, it has a huge amount of potential, but I don't feel like we fully trust it yet. And it's probably the right headspace to be. It's in its evolution, still early days. What's your sort of AI reality check on when it fails, who's responsible? Which I don't think we've got regulations around. I don't think we've got legislation around. What's your opinion on okay, you've got this product that's fully automated and it's adding a load of value. What happens when AI goes wrong? So when AI fails, the mission is not the one that should carry the blame. I think humans should be, and the organizations are the ones that should be responsible for it, because the model didn't decide how would it be used, what level of trust it would be given, or whether the guardrails are put around it or not, right? So I think one of the biggest mistakes in AI right now is that people talk about failure as if it happens at inference time. In my experience, failure usually starts earlier, in poor assumptions, poor workflow design, poor ownership, and just blind confidence in the technology. So human in the loop sounds responsible, but it can become a cop-out if the system is badly designed, right? And on the other hand, if a person is flooded with noisy alerts, that human is not really in control. They're just consuming. They're just being asked to absorb the weakness of the system. So that's where the guardrails become critical as well. So you need to know what the AI should do and what it should not do, and whether and where human judgment remains non-negotiable, right? So blind AI adoption is purely risky because people deploy confidence before capability. So they see something work in a demo and they assume that it's ready for reality, but safety critical environments like the ones that I mentioned, warehousing, childcare, manufacturing firms, right? Those safety critical environments, they get punished very quickly with this kind of thinking because they think that it will work because it works in a demo. So that's the kind of reality check that any organization should
adapt.
Yeah, I think you highlighted an interesting point there. Is we're focused on when it fails versus, and we get alerts and all those sort of things versus the significant percentage of time that it works. So having a human in the loop, I think it's got to be compulsory at this point in time. But most people, if they've had an AI tool that hasn't delivered what they expected, they say it's rubbish. It's not the truth. And most CTOs that I speak to are sort of trying to educate their teams that it's a tool for you to use. It's not, and you need to be reviewing its output. Just like if you had a junior person in your team that you go, here's a task, get that done. You're probably going to review it to make sure it is what was expected before you roll it out. And I think people are trying to shortcut that review piece and therefore saying, I doubt the AI. And I don't think we're there yet. So I absolutely understand the human in the loop piece and guardrails. So reflecting on, how long's it been since you started up Safe-Sight.Ai?
Yeah, since Jan. I jumped into it since Jan. So about 4 months now, I guess.
Cool. Reflecting on that period of time, if you had your time again, would you do anything different? What have you learned?
Tough question. So if I had my time again, I would probably optimize less for technical elegance and optimize more for field reality, right? Because the reality is very, very different to what we build in silos, right?
Okay.
Because one of the hardest lessons is building AI that's being technically right. It's just not enough. The product has to, again, fit the workflow. It has to earn trust. It has to reduce noise, and it has to lead to action, which means that you have to give people to act, to do something about the alerts that you're producing. Otherwise, even a strong system just can fail to create value, right?
Yep.
So the hard lesson for me has really been this: a technically correct product can still fail if it doesn't fit the customer's operational reality.
Brilliant. It's early days, and if that's the only sort of learn you've had, then that's good. And again, I'm sure you're using that learning to evolve, your workflows yourself internally to have a product and a process that's more efficient, which is what life's all about, learning and continually evolving, which is great. You're going to be growing. You have a product that you believe in and you're really passionate about, and I think it can solve some really amazing world problems. Even if I'm just like childcare focused, I love that piece. And parents would go, wow, the centre that I drop my child off has got this automated safety mechanism, love it. What's the type of person that you want to try and attract to Safe-Sight.Ai in terms of a new employee that joins your business? What sort of values are you looking for there?
Yeah, 100%. I think getting someone on board or hiring is the most important decision, especially for a startup like us, because the first hire or the first couple of hires can make or break anything, right? They are the core culture of the company at that point in time, right? And it keeps growing, it keeps propagating as the team grows. So what excites me most is building with people who care about solving real problem in the real world, not just building technology for the sake of it. So if there's one takeaway, it's that the AI becomes meaningful when it improves what happens in the real world, right? So not just when it performs well in theory. So I want to kind of have people on board that can understand that early on and go through the journey, and also people who are comfortable with ambiguous situations and ready to jump in and solve a real problem and things like that. So,
yeah, fantastic. Right, we're at that point, Gayathri, where you've got to leave us with I guess, potential founders that are sitting on the fence right now, listening to this conversation. What is your sort of final thought that you want to leave us with?
I think you just go try it, go do it, experience it for yourself, and it's definitely a rewarding journey. It will be a rewarding journey, and you massively grow as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a techie, as everything, right? you have a new level of appreciation for life, I guess. So I think you should just go do it.
Live life, not just survive life. I think that's something I've sort of reflected on periodically, is like, are we actually living, to the maximum, or are we just surviving and day by day doing the same thing? So to summarize, if you've got an idea and you've done your due diligence around the market, press the button and do it. Yeah, I love it. Gayathri,
so the founders that are usually on the fence, they have an idea, and they are pretty clear. They know the market fit, and it's just that jump that they need to make. It's the leap that they need to make it happen, right? So it's that piece where you'll never become brave enough to do this. That's pretty much it, right? So you just have to do it anyway. So.
Love it. Just do it. Thank you very much, Gayathri, for your time. Love being involved at the early stage of Safe-Sight.Ai. I believe in the company's vision. I believe in yourself, your passion you've got around the topic, and I wish you all the best. That's for sure.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Thanks for giving us this platform to talk about the story of Safe-Sight, and I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.